Okay.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you are doing well. My name is Carolina Pires. I am a Portuguese special planner, and my colleague is Melina Vlachou.
Okay, and I am Melina Vlachou. I am a Greek architect, and together we have developed Re.Create, which is a community network for climate change awareness and social resilience. Re.Create was born in 2019 as part of a comparative research between Rotterdam and Belgrade among the universities of Hogeschool Rotterdam and the Faculty of Architecture of Belgrade. To make this project, we had in mind both the resilience strategies of Rotterdam and Belgrade, which are guidelines of future actions each country will take in order to create a resilient future. For both cities, we will focus on the following. The climate change awareness is a complex topic that influences and is influenced by other complex topics. So this project is going to focus on 3 different areas. First one is education, focusing on access to information, good interaction and communication. Environment, focusing on environmental conscious. And society, focusing on will and dedication to act.
So for that, we have made a research to understand the vulnerabilities and strengths of both case studies. We analyzed the climate vulnerabilities of Rotterdam as far as heat island effects and flooding, as you can see in the maps. Next, we analyzed the urban and social vulnerabilities here. And based on these 2 factors, we decided in which neighborhood we would focus on, which is called Stadsdriehoek neighborhood. These 3 maps helped us understand the character of the neighborhood, which is mostly educational, entertainment, and cultural, as also understanding the already existed network, which we can work with in order to further expand it.
It also helped us to choose the ways in which we will act on the neighborhood and with the local communities. So we have decided to work at 4 different levels. The first one is terraces, which we transform into gathering places, squares, where we create installations, walls, where we show projections of images and documentaries, and buildings, which we transform into sustainable social centers. And here we have some examples of the empty squares, where we have created installations and social gatherings. Here we have some more examples of the empty facades as installations and graffitis, and vertical gardens and projections, and some more examples of empty terraces that we have transformed into agricultural roofs and social and green roofs. And finally, we have transformed empty buildings into sustainable and net positive buildings that work as social and educational places, offices, student housing, and community kitchen.
So this is our network for the city of Rotterdam with all the activities and interventions that will occur. The aim of this network is to create a stronger climate-proof community that interacts both physically and digitally. So we have created a social network for the cities of Rotterdam and Belgrade. Although this project was implemented in those 2 cities, it can be adapted to every city. So the approaches we have done in each city were slightly different, because in Rotterdam we chose an urban area and in Belgrade a rural one, as you can see in the maps. So we went to Belgrade, and based on our research, these are the most climate change vulnerable areas: air pollution, heat waves, extreme cold, floods, and storms. According to the strategy of Belgrade, here are the 4 different climate change vulnerabilities present in the territory. In summer, the territory is affected by heat waves and droughts, while in winter by extreme colds and storms. We understood that Bazzaro forest has a higher score in the categories of capacity to adapt and vulnerability for each of the 4 climate change issues. These graphics show two different scenarios. The blue lines are the variation of temperature, precipitation, and the high groundwater recharge if Belgrade follows the regulations of Paris Agreement, while the red lines show if they don't follow it.
After we analyze the forest vulnerabilities, according to the municipality plans, the darkest green areas are identified as protected ones due to erosion and extinction of some species. Our proposal is to plant specific species that mitigate the climate issues of each area. Also, these maps help us to understand which activities and installations we could integrate in the social network and which is the best place for them. After we identify the stakeholders and targets that will be integrated in this social network, our targets tend to be everyone of all ages and backgrounds, though the ones listed are those considered to be the most urgent to integrate in our network.
These are the 4 different categories of activities that we have included in the social network. So gathering, informative, interactive, and recreative activities. Here are some examples of informative activities. Yes, such as installations and performances. Then some recreative activities such as workshops and exhibitions. And here are gathering and interactive activities such as events, cleaning, and recycling in the forests. So this network contains the stakeholders, the institutions, the activities we added to the network, together with the educational paths we've created. The educational paths are the lines in black in that drawing that represent the possible tours that visitors can take in order to engage in the network we've created in the forest.
So our network includes a website and a Facebook page where we show the ideas we want to implement in the neighborhoods. This is a way to have all people, perspectives, and feedbacks in one place. The QR is also linked to our website, which brings these 2 projects together in one digital platform. This QR will be present in all the spaces we recreate so that people know about this project and can easily access it. And you can now scan the QR and access our website because we will show you how to navigate in it right now. I will give you some time to do that. And here is the video we have made of how you can navigate in our website.
So here are some questions that we ask about your neighborhood, and then there is a form in there, and then you to answer those questions. And if you want your city to be the next one included in our network, you can go to our website and fill in the form by clicking in the orange button that you saw in the first page. So now we are showing you some of the initiatives, some of the proposals we've made for Rotterdam. So this is what it's in our website. I hope you can.
And then we have the network of Rotterdam.
Yes.
With every action in it.
Now it's the proposals for Serbia. So for Belgrade, for Bazzaro Forest. And here is the network for Bazzaro forest.
First, we have the concept network, and then we have added all the activities. And then we have the final one combined. And then we have added some inspiring videos for you to watch. And after we have the events that we have already organized and we.
And you can also see the future events when we post in our calendar. This is a previous event we've hosted.
So if you want your city to be the next one included in our network, you can go to our website and fill the form by clicking the.
Here, yes. Fill in that form. Or it passed. Okay. Can you maybe put the first seconds of the? Yes. Here are the questions, and then you fill in the form. After the questions, it says form. You see exactly. Good. So you write there the answers, and then you click in the orange button which says share your perspective. Okay. And then when we have more information about your neighborhood and what you would like to change about the neighborhood and how we can help, then we can start working in yours.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was a very interesting presentation. Except for some technical issues we have here. Sorry for that. Maybe we can. I have one question or two, but I think probably we can see the other presentation and come back after that to discuss together.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, maybe it's too loud. Can we share the presentation?
Hello, Arianna and
I'm Manfredi.
Hello. Unfortunately, we're not in person. You're not in person here in Athens.
Yeah, I know.
But, we're looking forward to listen to your presentation, and you have the floor, and then we can discuss it. Go ahead and share your screen. Did you find the share screen button? It is on the middle of the screen, let's say.
Sorry, we had a problem with
I thought I lost you for a minute, and but here you are again.
Okay, we can.
Okay, you can find your share screen button on the. Perfect. Now
okay, perfect.
You can see your screen.
So,
go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. I am Manfredi, and I'm here with Arianna. Giulia, unfortunately, is not with us. She's in IT for a seismic assessment project. And together we created Kune. We are a group of architects and engineers and social urban planner coming from different backgrounds. And our aim is to help people who speak different languages to communicate on the same level. To do this, we propose an holistic approach in order to understand and meet the needs of all the stakeholders involved. Here in this panel, we will present a project proposal that we designed for a traveling exhibition on humanitarian architecture that was sponsored by the Varese Architects Association in Italy. The operational framework to understand better what we're talking about is the Republic of North Macedonia, where the government, together with local and international NGOs, has started several actions of development and legalization of the Roma settlements funded by the EU Commission. Our experience and thoughts are based on 2 projects targeting the cities of Prilep, Vinica, and Berovo, developed by Italian NGOs and local NGOs, in which we have been involved. The outcomes of the actions should be to secure decent living conditions inside the Roma settlements. These projects are under the IPA2 program. That is an inclusive program for countries out of the EU. And the final goal of the program is to integrate in a better way the people living in deep poverty in the national and European community. As we can see, the majority of the Roma community is socially and physically marginalized, and the Roma settlements are usually built without permissions and located in the outskirts of the cities in an environment that challenges the possibilities to build secure houses and have basic infrastructures. A better understanding of the framework goes pass through the analysis of the weaknesses and strengths. The majority of the houses is self-constructed. These are usually realized in adobe bricks or materials taken from the local dumps like cardboard, metal sheets, or asbestos panels. The lack of construction skills produces houses with bad structural performances of roofs and walls and moisture inside the houses. So the Roma community lives in a very harmful condition and unhealthy conditions too, due to the presence of garbage dumps within the houses, caused by the lack of formal waste collection and the presence of open-air sewages. Another weakness is the limited budget that is at disposal of these actions, that does not seem appropriate to solve the key issues of the houses for a large number of beneficiaries, neither appropriate to tackle the problem of waste management and the environmental hygiene for the whole settlements. As we can see in these 2 pictures, in order to ensure decent living conditions for as much beneficiaries as possible, the activities put in place by the NGOs focus on aesthetical and functional intervention. Usually these interventions are suggested from the local dwellers, like the repairing of the roofs and the insulation of the external walls and the refurbishment of floors, but do not consider structural issues or foundation issues, like in this picture. For instance, in this other one picture, we can see that the refurbishment has been focusing on the roof, and also a thermal insulation panel will be applied just to cover the existing wall, but not tackling the real structure, the existing structure, and the foundation of the house. If we want to focus on strengths, this means to understand if there are some resources inside the communities that can trigger development. To do this, we can focus on the economic activities that are already inside the communities, like the work of the plastic collectors. During the interviews and the focus group that have been carried out by the local NGOs and the community facilitators, the Roma households expressed the will to start private entrepreneurship. And they also expressed the need to foster relationships with the local markets and with bigger companies at regional and national level. In order to understand if it is possible to optimize the resources of all stakeholders involved, we asked ourselves 2 questions. How can we turn weaknesses into opportunities and build on strengths? It is possible to create sustainable solutions that harness the capabilities of local communities as wished by the SDGs. Answer may come from the combination of the capability approach and the new circular architecture practices that are fostered by the EU Commission and the SDGs. Using the insights of Amartya Sen capability approach means to work on people's agency that Sen defines as widening the panorama of possibilities and joining new opportunities with a freedom to act that give birth to the agency and role of the individual. Thus, we can work on improving the strengths already in place in the communities, like the job of the plastic collector, and try to push this activity according to households' wills of starting up businesses. Circular architecture principles are crucial now because they help us in rethinking the refurbishment techniques and materials. We can replace new materials with recycled ones and use modular construction techniques to intervene on specific part of the houses. So to link together all these thoughts that we already explained, we have proposed a tool to face the different issues that we are talking about. The refurbishment, the tool is the refurbishment of houses using wasted materials that is possible to find in the open air dumps of the community, of the Roma communities. The case study is a 35 square meter house hosting a 5-member household located in the Trisla settlement in the city of Prilep. The intervention includes the reuse of plastic bottles and car tires that are easy to find in the landfill close to the Roma settlement, and that can be collected by the local community and the plastic collector that we were talking about. Here we can see the list of intervention. On the left, we have the plastic bottles intervention, on the right, the car tires. So with the plastic bottles, we can do insulation of the floors, of the roof, and also create ready-made panels to insulate the walls. And we can also do water heater solar panels. So plastic is very useful in thermal regulation. The car tires are more for the structural part of the refurbishment. So we can use the car tires to create retaining walls or for a better insulation and ventilation of the floors. But also we can use car tire straps to strengthen the walls, the earthen walls. It's a very useful method for seismic to prevent seismic issues. We define this project as a tool because the stakeholders will assess the usefulness of the proposed intervention according to their wills and needs. In fact, in this example, the application of circular architecture techniques, if supported by local community-based participatory process, can reach the outcome of triggering new social and economic dynamics inside the communities. In conclusion, we argue here that the use of this tool could enlarge the number of beneficiaries of the EU programs, thanks to a low-cost refurbishment, and reach some interesting outcomes inside the community. So at community level, plastic bottles and car tires recollection could be managed by organized group of local plastic collectors, with a powerful impact on waste management and general hygienic condition of the neighborhood. Looking at the job opportunities, the production of ready-made insulation panels and water heater panels could trigger the emergence of small local businesses. And at a national level, to widen the relationships of Romas with the rest of Macedonian communities, the production of car tire straps, that is a more skilled activities, could be managed by existing or emerging community-based construction companies, which could resell the know-how to regional and national businesses. That's all from us. Thank you very much. The last slide. Okay, thank you very much. If we want to keep in touch with us, this is our email, and we are very glad to share with you. We're waiting for your questions. Thank you.
Ευχαριστούμε πολύ. Thank you very much as well for this very interesting presentation. Normally in the program we have one more presentation by Giulia December, community participation in risk management and life saving. I'm not sure, I couldn't find Giulia neither on the panelists list or attendees, but if by any chance I have missed them, please do let me know to add you as a panelist to present. But if we are missing this presentation, we could start by making a discussion about the presentation by Melina and Carolina, and also yours. If so, maybe Melina could join me here to discuss all together about these things. And also, Carolina, you're free to do open your camera if you want, and also your microphone when you want to say something, of course.
I think I already opened. Can you see me?
Yes, we can see you and hear you just fine. Okay, just to because we do not have any questions from the audience, from the Zoom meeting. Maybe just small remark by myself. It was really interesting, both these presentations with different, let's say, perspectives, but really interesting nevertheless. To start with the first presentation, I would really like to ask you, what was your how you analyze or how you select the areas or the spots that you are doing your interventions and your how was this process?
Do you want me to talk or yes? Okay. So basically, we've analyzed the climate vulnerabilities of the areas as also the social vulnerabilities, because our network, the aim of our network is to solve climate change issues and turn our community into a more social resilient community, meaning that when we've studied the climate vulnerabilities of the area and the social vulnerabilities, we then put them together, like above each other, like imagine maps, like together, and then we could identify the exact areas that we had to work on for both these issues.
And then we went to this specific area that we chose, and we found the specific spots that we wanted to intervene. And then we made the categories as we said, and we tried to see which one could work best in each spot. So basically that's how.
Do you have any other remarks, Arianna and Manfredi, if I'm saying your name correctly? And also kind of a similar question to you as well. How do you select the specific communities of Roma communities that you get in touch with, and how do you get in touch with them? What is your strategy? What was your strategy?
We didn't select the Roma communities. Let's say that the community came to us because we've been involved with the Italian NGO in this project that was already for these communities, for Prilep, Stipen, Verovo, and Vinica. So we went there as architects to do infrastructure assessment. And then after this experience that was last year, we decided to work on the issues that we saw. So our idea was to, can we do something more? Can we propose something more for an already existing and ongoing program that is that comes from the EU Commission? So it's a very high level, let's say. But again, from what we saw, we saw that something was missing in this communication between all the stakeholders. because, you know, it's not to criticize nothing, but this kind of project usually have, unfortunately, they propose a bottom-up approach, but in fact is a sort of top-down approach due to the economic issues. So you don't have money, so you have to select what people can be involved, which are the beneficiaries, and so we decided to. We had this opportunity from the Architects Association in Italy to build on something, to think on something, and we decided to propose this tool. So the communities were already there, the programs was already designed for the communities. Our idea is something more to add if they want to add, of course, because I understand that it's not so easy to put in place something like this, because you have to reach some standards of living, you have to answer also to the EU requests, the national requests. It's not easy to put in place something like this, but
we are trying.
We are trying. We are trying to find also someone that is interested in sponsor this research. All the things that we are proposing in terms of plastic bottle recycle or car ties are already in the scientific thinking. So the car tie straps, for example, are not designed by us, but comes from
but Giulia studied them.
Yeah, Giulia studied with a group in Peru.
Yes.
To use these car tie straps, and so
these are working solution already. So the idea is to put together the needs and the already existing knowledge and the local knowledge, put all together and have some results, some better results.
Okay, feel free to comment one another. I mean, it's an open discussion. We're not that many people, so it's very easy to discuss more freely, I think. If I understand correctly, the project was held on last year.
yes,
Roughly. And yours?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. So you were in a COVID situation, let's say. I mean, in the COVID era. From the Roma communities, we worked with them under COVID restrictions, let's say.
yes, of course.
How this worked? I mean, and this is a more general question. How do you think these participation processes can work or can function under crisis mode now with COVID, and even then, even afterwards, we will, I think, have some kind of COVID, let's say, remaining issues. So, what do you think, all four of you? What do you think for participation process under COVID era, let's say?
From our experience, let's say that COVID has been a huge limit for the international cooperation system in general, because of course limited and restricted the possibility to travel, and it's a job that focuses on going in another country. So this is the first problem. So we had some very huge issues to have all the permissions to go there, to stay there, to come back in Italy. It was a mess, this point. But also in terms of participatory processes, we had problems because, for example, in Vinica, the community facilitator, there was a Roma man, there was the, let's say, the chief of the community. Was not the chief in the real life, but was the one that had the link with the municipality of Vinica. He died for COVID, so we missed one. We missed the most important piece to step into the community, because it's not so easy to do this kind of participatory activities, let's say, because we went there as Italians with all our pens and paper sheets and things to note something that was wrong, that was to solve, and there was a bit of I don't know how to say in English. Arianna, help me, con un po' di, diciamo, le comunità erano un po' fredde. The communities were not so open in having us, let's say, no? So the missing of this link, the man that was, that wanted to do something for the Roma community, this was a huge problem. But in general, I saw, for example, COVID was not a real problem that the community was feeling, actually. You know? I don't know why. I don't know, maybe if something related to I don't want to inform me about these issues. I want just to watch TV in this way. I don't know. Of course, there was a lack of communication about the problem of COVID inside the Roma communities. So they were actually totally free without problem of lockdowns, etc. I repeat, we had the particular permission to do that. It was not so easy because North Macedonia, that here was starting the lockdown when we were there. But again, this was a huge problem for us. So I don't know if actually COVID impacted something in the participatory process in general of this action, because this is an ongoing program. The NGOs are still there, they are working there. I don't know now how it's going. But at the time we missed the most important part, to communicate, to start the communication, to start the participation.
What about you, Melina? Do you want to comment something about this?
What I can say, then you can complement whatever you want. I just, in terms of practical approach to the project, to keep working on the project, it's more related to travel and tests, because it's really demanding a lot of bureaucracy and even the money that we have to pay in order to have these things done. But apart from that, I think that although climate change has somehow in some specific measures, the COVID has helped because we had to stay home, so we couldn't travel much, nor there was an actually decrease of pollution, not only air, but in water, etc., because we were not damaging the environment so much. But at the same time, we were producing a lot of masks and alcohol gel and bottles, plastic bottles, etc. So it's kind of, in that sense, we increased the climate change, because we are even now seeing like animals showing up dead with masks. So climate change with COVID still has a long walk it still has a long path to walk in regarding to mitigation of climate change. About the social vulnerabilities that we also work in, it's a big issue, because the fact that there was a lot of things, a lot of communication in media, etc., regarding COVID, it diminished some of the other social problems from other communities that saw their lives more challenging with COVID. So if they were already challenging challenges for them regarding a lot of people that don't have access to health insurance, that maybe are homeless, like they experienced much more challenges with COVID. So which makes Re.Create, our project, much more urgent to keep working on these things, because we are working on a network, to develop a network, and to develop this network we need to develop engagement with the communities. And if there is no engagement because people are at home and now they are suddenly afraid to hang out with other people, if their mental and physical well-being is not on point, if they have to spend more money in health or in masks, all of these increases to a stressful community, and that affects the participatory work with those communities and within them also. So I think COVID brought challenges to both of these topics, climate change and social vulnerabilities, and it's keeping keep doing the work and more.
Yeah, but actually we did this project before the coronavirus started. So for us there was no challenge as far as this. No, but for now I agree that it will be much more difficult.
What Carolina said was really, really interesting. I agree very much with this, let's say, analysis or whatever, because I think that that this is exactly the point. That people that are vulnerable in climate changes and climate crisis, let's say, are more vulnerable in other crises as well. For example, the people that have not access to air conditioning to heat infrastructure, let's say, live in small apartments, and also they cannot really isolate so easily. They live with other people. They live in homes without a yard or stuff like that, in areas without green spaces, and all of them really, really intensifies this crisis, climate crisis, and health crisis, and all other crises that may come in the future. It is a really, really interesting point. Do you want to comment anything else, any of you, or we do not have, I think, questions from the audience? No, we do not.
We would like to know if your research in Rotterdam and Belgrade, if someone in the cities ask to you to do this, or you decide to do that because you were involved in some process or research or something?
We've actually.
Oh, no. Do you want me to say? Okay. Actually, we were studying in Hogeschool Rotterdam. So this was a comparative research between that semester and the Belgrade Faculty of Architecture. So it was that. But then we contacted with the municipality of Rotterdam, I mean, with all the stakeholders that we needed to have access to all this information. For example, the maps that we needed and the data, and also some citizens, like everything else, with the QR and everything, we tried to connect to the city and to everything needed, apart from the university. And
Yes, basically we had to, we were in the university, so our task was to create a project that would solve some of these issues. And that's when we came up with this project. And then that's what Melina said. Then we contacted other people. We also presented the project in a Future Flux Festival in Rotterdam and in Urban Resilience Summit, also in Rotterdam. And yes, so we after school, we keep developing these projects.
But also the main task was for it to be feasible to, like, for it to happen tomorrow, for example. So we had to find the stakeholders to solve everything. I mean, this was the main task from the university and also for us, I mean, after. And for now, also, that we're trying to keep contact with stakeholders, with fundraisers and everything.
Okay.
Okay, if we do not have any other comments or regard or remarks, we can conclude this session. It was really interesting for myself and I hope for you as well, and also for the audience. Thank you very much. And I hope to see you in the next conference or whatever in person, all of you.
We hope so.
We hope so, yes.
Thank you very much.
much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye. Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye bye.
Bye, thank you.